Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We are in the middle of second unit, that is jet transformations. So far, we have covered the jet transformations for different fundamental equations, and after that, we have already completed the jet transformation methods also. Two different transformation methods we are having: partial fraction method and residue method. So, in the previous class, we have seen the different problems using jet transformation method, that is the partial fraction method, as well as residue method. Okay, so for today's class for today's class for today's class we are going for next topic in the second unit. So that is inverse jet transformation. Inverse jet transformation. Okay, these methods are very similar to the jet transformation methods itself. In case of the jet transformation methods, we are having only the two types. One is the partial fraction method and the second one is residue method. Apart from these two methods, the inverse jet transform is also having one more method. That method is power series method. Power series method. Three different methods are having for calculating the inverse jet transform. One is the partial fraction method, power series method, and third one is residue method. And you people are very familiar about the partial fraction method as well as the residue method. Okay. In the similar fashion, we are going to solve the inverse jet transformation. Inverse jet transformation. That means in the problem itself, they will give or they will assign f of z to you. You have to convert that f of z to f of k, not f of t. You have to convert it to f of k. Why? Because f of k is representation of discrete time signals. F of k is nothing but the representation of discrete time signals. Okay. In the problems, they will give f of z, and you have to convert that f of z into f of k for obtaining the discrete time response. Okay. So for calculating that, we are having the three different methods. One is the partial fraction method, power series method, and second one is residue method. And the power series method is also called as long division method. Long division method. It's a normal division of numerator and denominator. Okay. Initially, we will see the inverse jet transformation methods. That means the problems regarding to the inverse jet transformation based upon the partial fraction method. Partial fraction method. So have a glance on it. Okay. This is the statement of the problem. Determine the inverse Z transform for x of z. He has asked us to calculate x of z. That means we have to calculate x of k. Okay. Determine the inverse Z transform for x of z, that is equal to 3z square plus z plus 1 whole divided by z square minus 3z plus 2. Okay. In this, numerator and denominator is having the order of equations 2. So in order to perform the partial fraction method, the expression must be, that means the division is going to be carried out with only x object divided by z. X object divided by z. So in order to perform that particular operation, we are just dividing the equation, that means x object with z. With z. So coming for the solution part, here x object is given here, and in order to perform the partial fraction method, we have to divide that particular equation with z. So therefore x object divided by z is equal to 3z square plus z plus 1 whole divided by z into z square minus 3z plus 2. Okay, so it is going to be divided, or it is going to be expanded using the partial fraction method as a by z plus b by z minus 1 plus c by z minus 2. That means z minus 1 and z minus 2 are the two poles. The denominator is having the two poles, that is at 1 and 2. Therefore, the expression is going to be divided, that means partially divided into a by z plus b by z minus 1 plus c by z minus 2. So upon equating this one, we are going to get 3z square plus z plus 1 is equal to a into the two poles plus b into z minus 2 plus c into z into z minus 1. So in order to obtain the value of b, in order to obtain the value of b, we have to substitute z is equal to 1. Z is equal to 1 in this particular equation, Okay. So upon substituting the value of z is equal to 1, we are going to get the value of b as 5. B as minus 5. So in order to obtain the value of c, we have to substitute the value of z as 2. Z as 2. So upon substituting the value of z is equal to 2, we are going to get the value of c as 15 by 2. 15 divided by 2. So similarly, in the same fashion, in order to obtain the value of a, we have to substitute the value of z is equal to 0. That means why? Because a is going to be divided with z. So upon that substitution, we are going to get the value of a as 1 by 2. So just substituting the values of a, b and c in this particular equation, that means expanded equation, we are going to get x of z divided by z is equal to the value of a is 1 by 2. Therefore, 1 by 2 divided by z plus 5. The value of b is minus 5 and it is going to be divided with z minus 1 plus 15 divided by 2 whole divided by z minus 2. So, in order to apply the inverse Z transform, we have to transfer this Z to this particular one. Transfer Z to this particular one. Okay. Therefore, x of z is nothing but 1 by 2 into 1. X of z is equal to 1 by 2 into 1 minus 5 into z divided by z minus 1 plus 15 by 2 into z divided by z minus 2. Okay. 1 by 2 minus 5 into z divided by z minus 1 plus 15 by 2 into z divided by z minus 2. So upon applying the inverse z transformation on both sides, we are going to get x of k. It is not f of k, it is x of k. X of k is equal to the value of inverse Z transform for n is impulse function. Therefore, 1 by 2 into delta of k minus 5 into u of k plus 15 by 2 into, it is nothing but representation of a power k. What is the Z transform for a power k? It is nothing but z divided by z minus a. So in the similar fashion, we are having the function that is z divided by z minus 2. Therefore, the inverse Z transform for the function z divided by z minus 2 is nothing but 2 power k. 2 power k. Okay. So in this fashion, we are going to solve the inverse Z transformation using partial fraction method. Okay. With similar to this method, we are going to discuss one more problem. Sorry. Okay. This is the statement of the problem. Determine the inverse Z transform for x of z is equal to 10z divided by z minus 1 into z minus 2. Here we are able to observe two different poles, that is at z is equal to 1 and z is equal to 2. Z is equal to 1 and z is equal to 2. So in order to apply or perform the partial fraction method, the entire expression has to be represented as x of z divided by z. Therefore, x of z divided by z is equal to 10 divided by z minus 1 into z minus 2. Okay, converting this particular basic equation into the partial fraction expansion method, that is x of z divided by z is equal to 10 divided by z minus 1 into z minus 2. So upon application of the partial fraction, it is nothing but represented as a divided by z minus 1 plus b divided by z minus 2. A divided by z minus 1 plus b divided by z minus 2. So in order to obtain the value of a, we have to substitute the value of z is equal to 1. And similarly, in order to obtain the value of b, we have to substitute the value of z as 2. Therefore, Upon substitution of z is equal to 1, we are going to get the value of a as minus 10, and upon substitution of z is equal to 2, we are going to get the value of b as 10. Okay, so just substituting the value of a and b in this particular equation, basic equation, that is fundamental equation, we are going to get x of z divided by z is equal to minus 10 divided by z minus 1 plus 10 divided by z minus 2. So after converting this, so after substituting this, just convert that x of z value, that is nothing but x of z divided by z into x of z. Just transferring that z value to the another side, RHS side. Therefore, x of z is equal to minus 10 into z divided by z minus 1 plus 10 into z divided by z minus 2. So it is going to be represented as a power k, and it is also as a power k. Okay. Therefore, with the application of the inverse z transform on both sides, x of z is going to be converted into x of k, that is equal to minus 10, it is not wrongly taken. It is nothing but minus 10 into u of kt plus 10 into 2 power k, 2 power k. Okay. In this way, we are going to solve the remaining problems also. Okay. So this is the statement of the problem, and that means he usually gives, that means the z transform equation can be represented in terms of z or z power minus 1 terms also. That means it is going to be represented as z or z power negative terms. Okay. So in order to solve these kind of problems, let I have f of z is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus 1.5 into z power minus 1 plus 0.5 into z power minus 2. So just converting the z value, inverse z value into z, f of z is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus 1.5 divided by z plus 0.5 divided by z square. Therefore, it is going to be converted as z square divided by z square minus 1.5 z plus 0.5. So for this particular equation, it can be represented as poles, that is z square divided by z minus 1 into z minus 0.5. So for the applying the partial fraction method, the expression, the equation has to be represented as f of z divided by z, that is equal to z divided by z minus 1 into z minus 0.5. So that way is going to be represented as a divided by z minus 1 plus a, that means two different poles, a1 and a2. a1 divided by z minus 1 plus a2 divided by z minus 1. So in order to obtain the value of a1, we have to substitute the value of z is equal to 1. We are going to get the value of a1 as 2. And in the similar fashion, just substituting the value of 0.5 in this particular equation, we are going to get the value of a2 as minus 1. So just substitute the values of a1 and a2 in this equation. We are going to get the equation, that is f of z is equal to 2z divided by z minus 1 minus z divided by z minus 0.5. That is nothing but 2 into 2 power k, 2 into u of k plus 0.5 whole power k. 0.5 whole power k. That is nothing but it is in the fashion of a power k, and it is also in the fashion of a power k. Okay. In this way, we are going to convert the negative terms into the positive terms and apply the partial fraction. Okay. So with this problem, we will conclude the partial fraction method. That is, here he has given f of z is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus z inverse plus 1 minus z inverse whole square. We are able to observe two different poles. We are going to observe two different repeated poles. So in order to perform the partial fraction method for this repeated poles, it is going to be represented as, that means just converting the negative terms into the positive, we are going to get f of z divided by z is equal to z square divided by z plus 1 into z minus 1 whole square. f of z divided by z is equal to z square divided by z plus 1 into z minus 1 whole square. So with the application of the partial fraction method, we are going to rewrite this equation as f of z divided by z is equal to a1 divided by z plus 1 plus a2 divided by z minus 1 whole square plus a3 divided by z minus 1. We have to represent this particular equation. Why? Because it is in this equation we are going to observe the repeated poles. The repeated poles. Therefore, we can write there we are going to represent this particular repeated poles as a1 divided by z plus 1 plus a2 divided by z minus 1 whole square plus a3 divided by z minus 1. So in order to obtain the values. Okay, so in order to obtain this particular values, that is, in order to find out the value of a1, we have to substitute the value of z1. So z is equal to minus 1. So just substituting the value of z is equal to minus 1 in this particular equation, that is nothing but f of z divided by z into z plus 1, we are going to get the value of a1 as 0.25. And a2 is going to be represented as a2 is going to be represented as, that means a2 is going to be obtained with the substituted of z is equal to 1. That is a2 is equal to f of z divided by z. Then with the substitution of z is equal to 1, we are going to get the value of a2 is also point. A2 is also point. So A3, in order to find out the value of A3, we have to apply the differentiation form. We have to apply the differentiation form for this A2. The differentiation form for this A2. Okay, why? Because repeated poles are going to be happened. So therefore, A3 is equal to d divided by dz into f of z divided by z into z minus 1 whole square. That is equal to differentiation, that means d divided by dz is equal to z square divided by z plus 1 into z minus 1 whole square into z minus 1 whole square. So upon certain calculation, we are going to get the value of A3 as 0.75. So just substituting the values of A1, A2 and A3 in this equation, A1, A2 and A3 in this equation, we are going to get the value of f of z is. So, so just converting this particular z, transferring this particular z value to the RH side, we are going to get f of z is equal to z divided by 0.25 into z divided by z plus 1 plus 0.5 into z divided by z minus 1 whole square plus 0.75 into z divided by z minus 1. So after converting this f of z into f of k, that means with the application of the inverse z transform, we are going to convert this f of z into f of k, that is 0.25 into minus 1 whole power k plus 0.5 into k, 0.5 into k, that is nothing but it is the ramp function, and 0.75 into u of k, 0.75 into u of k. So in this way, we are going to solve, that means we are going to apply a partial fraction method for calculation of inverse Z transform for repeated poles. For repeated poles. That means we have to apply the differentiation for this particular repeated poles. Okay. So with this, the partial fraction method is going to be completed. Next, we are going to move for residue method. Residue method. Okay, that is this one. Find the inverse Z transform for f of z is equal to z divided by z minus 1. Find the inverse Z transform for f of z is equal to z divided by z minus 1. So with this from this problem we are going to solve. That means we are going to obtain the inverse Z transform with residue method. With residue. Okay. So in case of the residue method, one more advantage is there. Why? Because there is no need to apply any inverse Z transform and that means there is no need to concentrate on inverse Z transform or Z transform formulas. Just applying the residues and adding them depending upon the number of poles. It is the main advantage in case of the residue method. There is no need of remembering the Z transformation formulas. The Z transformation formulas, there is no need to remember that one in case of the residue. Okay, so let us look into it. Find the inverse Z transform for the function f of z is equal to z divided by z minus 1. Okay, we are having only one pole, that is at z is equal to 1, and the order of the equation is 1. Therefore, as per the residue method which we have discussed in the previous class, we are going to apply the same formula for this one. Residue is equal to limit z tends to r, z minus r into f of z into z power k minus 1. Z minus r into f of z into z power k minus 1. Okay, so in the previous Z transformation method, we have to multiply that particular equation with 1 divided by 1 minus e power st into z inverse. But in order to perform the inverse Z transform with residue method, we have to multiply that f of z with z power k minus 1. Z power k minus 1. This small clarification has to be understood in case of the Z transformation method as well as in inverse Z transformation methods. Okay, so just substituting that value, Z minus R is nothing but the 4. So for this one, we are having R is nothing but 1. Therefore, limit Z tends to 1, Z minus 1 into Z divided by Z minus 1 is the function, and it has to be multiplied with Z power k minus 1. So just multiplying this one, this is cancelling this z minus 1 and z minus 1. We are having limit z tends to 1, z into z power k minus 1. It can be represented as z power k divided by z. So upon calculation of the z, we are having only z power k. So just substituting the value of z is equal to 1. In this one, we are going to get 1 power k, that is always 1. So therefore, the f of z is going to be converted into f of kt, that is f of k or f of kt, that is u of k. That is nothing but it is the inverse z transform for the step function. So in a similar manner, we are going to solve the remaining problems. That is, find the inverse z transform for the function f of z is equal to z divided by z minus a. So therefore, in this one also we are having only a single pole, that is z is equal to a. So we are going to calculate the residue value at z is equal to a is nothing but residue r is equal to limit z tends to a, z minus a into z divided by z minus a into z power k minus 1. Z minus a into z divided by z minus a into z power k minus 1. Just cancelling the value of z minus a and z minus a here, we are having the value limit z tends to a is equal to z into z power k minus 1. So cancellation of the value of z into z, we are having limit z tends to a z power k, that is equal to a power k. So the inverse z transform for the function f of z is nothing but f of kt, that is a power k. So in this one, we are not able to go. There is no need to remember the Z transformation formulas. This is the basic advantage in case of the residue method. Okay. So next one is find the inverse Z transform for the function f of z is equal to z divided by z minus e power minus at. F of z is equal to z divided by z minus e power minus at. Okay, therefore we are having also in this one also we are having only one single pole, that is at e power minus at, that is equal to e power minus at, and the order of the equation is also 1. Therefore residue 1 is equal to limit z tends to e power minus at into z minus e power minus at. It is going to be divided with f of z into z power k minus 1. So cancellation of these two terms, we are having only z into z power k minus 1. That is nothing but z power k is going to be taken, and upon substitution of z value as e power minus at, we are having e power minus at whole power k. That is equal to e power minus a k. So therefore, the f of z is going to be converted as f of kt, that is equal to e power minus a k, e power minus a k. So in the similar fashion, we are going to solve the inverse Z transform for the repeated poles. For the repeated poles using the residue method. So this is the equation. Determine the inverse Z transform for the function z minus 1 divided by z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 into z minus 4 whole square. And we are having the two different poles at z minus 1 and z is equal to z minus 4. Okay, that means two different residues has to be taken. Therefore, the residue at 1, that is nothing but at pole 1, we are having R1 is equal to limit z tends to 1, z minus 1 into f of z into z power k minus 1. So just calculate, cancelling this particular z minus 1 and z minus 1 here, numerator and denominator, and upon substitution of z is equal to 1, why? Because it is limit z tends to 1, we are having, that means we are going to obtain the value of R1 as minus 1 by 9 into 1 power k minus 1. Minus 1 by 9 into 1 power k minus 1. So in the similar fashion, for calculating the residue of second pole, that is this second pole is repeated. Second pole is a repeated pole. So in order to obtain the residue of this repeated pole, we have to differentiate the basic equation. For that one, we are having the formula, that is, this is the formula we are having, that is limit z tends to R2. R2 is nothing but the repeated pole, d power q minus 1 whole divided by dz power q minus 1 into z into z minus R2 whole power q into f of z into z power k minus 1, where R2 is nothing but the repeated pole and q is nothing but the order of the function. How many times it is going to be repeated? Okay, so just substituting the values of R2 and Q in this equation, we are going to get limit z tends to R2. R2 is nothing but 4 dz divided, d divided by dz. Why? Because Q value is 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. D divided by dz into z minus 4 whole power 2 into f of z into z power minus 2. So just calculating this particular z minus 1 whole, z minus 4 whole square into z minus 4 whole square, we are having R2 is equal to limit z tends to 4 d divided by dz into z minus 2 whole divided by z minus 1 into z power k minus 1. So that is nothing but that means with the application of the differentiation, we are having limit z tends to 4 z minus 1 divided by z minus 2 divided by z minus 1 into k minus 1 into z power k minus 2 plus the z power k minus 1 into f of z value, and after that we are substituting the value of z is equal to 4 in this equation. We are going to get the value of equation, that is R2 value is 2 by 3 into k minus 1 into 4 power k minus 2 plus 1 by 9 into 4 power k minus 1. So for obtaining the final value, that is f of z is going to be converted into f of kt with the application of the inverse Z transform using residue method is nothing but the combination or summing terms of residue 1 and residue 2, that is R1 plus R2. And R1 we are going to obtain in the previous slide, that is this one, 1 minus 1 by 9 into 1 power k minus 1 plus R2 value is 2 by 3 into k minus 1 into 4 power k minus 2 plus 1 by 9 into 4 power k minus 1. K minus 1. Okay. This is the final f of k value. Okay. In this way, we are going to solve the f of k value. That means inverse Z transform is going to be applied for repeated poles. Repeated poles. So with this, we have converted the partial fraction method as well as the residue method for calculation or performing the inverse Z transform. Okay. In the next class, we will discuss how the inverse Z transform is going to be applied with power series method or long division method. So with this, we are going to wind up the class for today. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.